Hi, it's Tiny Windowed Me, and this is the original Xbox collection show-off thing. Of course, I don't have all of them, because that would be stupid. Some people out there will want to have everything, all of them, but I only have the ones I know that I'll play, or the things that are worth owning for particular reasons of my own. So let's get started. Anyway, yeah, there's a tiny window of me just shoved in the corner, and the bigger window is going to show off gameplay. Thought it'd be nice rather than just me showing off boxes. So I'm just going to grab a huge ass pile. I think there's 32 games here, so anyway. Shenmue 2. Let's get started off strong. The sequel to the Shenmue 1. It's a pretty damn good game. I'm just going to toss this over here. There we go. Safe. It's pretty damn good too. Much bigger than the first game. Takes place in China. You're still hunting down Lan Di, of course. And there's just so much more to do. So much more to see. And the cliffhanger is still pretty good as well. But hopefully, you know, Shenmue 3 will answer that. At this point in the time, people are wondering if it's going to hold up. At this, to me, I don't care. I just want the story to be done. I want Yu Suzuki to release all the Shenmue games he wants to finish his story. I don't care if the games have not elevated in quality or style since 2001. Don't care about that. I just want them to be done. And I'm pretty sure he's on the same page of that. But it's Yu Suzuki, and he's going to try and bump things up the best that he can, because it's him. You know, you can rely on him. He's a good game designer. Moving on. What's the next thing I've got here? Worms Fort Under Siege. Or Worms Forts Under Siege. Not only did I just get this because there's a tiny little Sega logo in the corner, but because this is the first time that Worms... Is it the first time? It's one of the first times that Worms went into fully 3D, and I like Worms. I like Worms a lot. It was one of the few kind of games like that I would particularly enjoy playing over and over again. Excuse me. And to see it in fully 3D, even though the formula didn't quite work because they've never gone back to that. God bless them to try though. They tried. Game's pretty fun. I'd recommend it. If you like Worms, that is. If you don't, then I don't know, do something else. Next. Puyo Pop Fever. What can I say? It's Puyo, you know? It's, well, apart from it being the second, is it the only second time? Apart from Lean Beam Machine? I think it's the second time that a Puyo game has been released to the West. Yeah, I think so. But regardless, yeah. I think it was the 5th installment. Upon, the 5th installment to the storyline, because it reboots. There's no Oral. It's a completely new character, Amity, and I think it's the magic school of Puyo. New characters. It's fine. It's a good. And it introduces a new mechanic called Fever, where you've got Puyos, but they're preset in already pre-dropped forms. So all you have to do is introduce one matching colour, and then the chain will go off. It's really fun to watch and do at the same time. It introduces a rush sort of feeling, I would like to say, rather than just the basic setting up chains, getting rid of the garbage Puyos, all that stuff. Yeah, it was a nice idea. I commend them for doing that. I just wish they released more Puyo games in the West, because right now the only ones that you can get officially in the West are Lean Beam Machine, Fever, and the new one, Puyo Tetris. If you want the others, you're gonna have to import them, sadly. Oh, don't have much time on the camera, it seems. That does not have a lot of juice. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna have to do a two-parter. Blood Omen 2 from the Legacy of Kain franchise. Got this because I didn't know there was a sequel. As far as I was aware, there was only 4. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 2, and then Defiance. I thought it was just 4, but no, they released Blood Omen 2, which is like a, spoilers, I don't care about that, so whatever. I think it's, God, it's been such a long time since I played them. Because time travel's involved in Soul Reaver, I think it's either the events of 1 or Soul Reaver 2 that creates a separate timeline, and that's what Blood Omen 2 is. It takes... It doesn't follow the same path as the one that you play, like follows through to Defiance. It splits off into something completely different, where Raphael is not there and it's Kain all on his lonesome for whatever reason. Again, it's been a long time since I've played the Legacy of Kain games, but yeah, it's okay. It's not as good as Defiance or Soul Reaver 2. But if you like the Legacy of Kain games, pick it up. Bit simple, but it's good. It's good. Next, the Atari Anthology. What can I say? Atari. It's 50 games from Atari, all in one disc. Do I have to give reason? Next. Headhunter Redemption. First Headhunter game was released for Dreamcast by Sega, and my god, I really like these games. Doesn't get talked about a hell of a lot. It really doesn't. It's I don't know why, but I love the Headhunter games. If Sega if Sega wanted to make another Headhunter game, like a third or a reboot or some shit, I think it would go down very well, because the Headhunter games, the fundamentals of a Headhunter game is pretty, grounded into what people like still. The whole Grand Theft Auto shooting people things, the whole just city madness, See, I don't want to give too much away about these games, because if you find them interesting, then you should look them up yourself. And I'm seeing a game here that shouldn't be here. Well, it should be here, but not in this order. Where's the first one? I'm gonna have to put that aside. Anyway. Right. Toe Jam and Earl 3. Mission to Earth. I love Toe Jam and Earl. I love him a whole lot. Can't wait for Back in the Groove whenever that comes out. And not a lot of people like Mission to Earth, but I think they did the best they could with what they got. And considering that game was going to come out for the Dreamcast, it's pretty damn good. It's just, if you're curious, it's just Toe Jam and Earl 1, but 3D. All 3D. Motion cameras and everything. Motion cameras? Camera turns and everything. It's all 3D. And I like it. I like it a whole lot. Introduces some new stuff like Funk Fu. Gives you some... it gives you some defense. Not just with what you get in presents. And I don't want to talk about it too much, because then that will turn into a Sega critic, so that's moving on. House of the Dead 3. Yes. House of the Dead, corny B-movie styled arcade shooter with zombies. Bah! Good! Fucking play them. Play them all. Play 1, 2, 3, 4, Overkill. Are there more? There's an arcade one. And there is a thing called Zombie Revenge for Dreamcast, which is connected to House of the Dead universe, but not very House of the Dead-ish. So yeah, play them all. If you like that sort of stuff, just, it's House of the Dead. You can't go wrong. Next. I know somebody likes this. Shadow the Hedgehog. Because they totally needed to make this. Okay. I'm going to be fair. When I first got it, I did enjoy it. Because the first stage was very like, blah, you know, explosions and shit. And the cinematic is so well done, and it's almost movie quality. So, yeah, you know, but it's got so many problems, and again, I can't talk too much about it, otherwise it turns into a Sega critic. But I've got problems with it. But there are things I do like about it. But I also think it shouldn't have been made. I don't think we needed him to have his own game. I didn't think his story was interesting enough to warrant further investigation into a fully developed product. I didn't understand it. But it happened like 12 years ago, maybe more now. You know, hindsight is 2020. Let's move on. Sega GT 2002 arcade racer. You know, you want an arcade racer? Sega GT, Daytona Games, Sega Rally. They got your back, boy. They got your back. Oh, Outrun 2-ish. It's not so much a racer, but Outrun's got the same sort of feel. If you love arcade racers, look up the Sega library of arcade racers. They've got your back. And Sega GT 2002 is no exception. Very nice. Looks great too. I get the same feel like Outrun 2 for the same system. Just looks lovely. Like, that system can pump out some pretty nice looking stuff. I think it was the most powerful thing on the market at the time, if it was utilised well, which many companies didn't do. But when they did, ooh, spectacle. Lovely stuff. So yeah. Oh, I recently got this. I tried it out not too long ago. Spike Out. Ugh, fuck. Spike Out. Battle Streets. Street. To cut it into short. Hold on. That is probably the closest thing you're going to get to Streets of Rage made into 3D. Unfortunately, it's not as interesting, it's not as fun, and doesn't have as much characteristic elements as the Streets of Rage franchise, but it's still fun to play. I recommend anybody give it a whirl. But there is one thing that does bother me about it. It happens immediately in the first stage. Your character's movement is very stiff, and the way he runs makes it look like his hands are really small. It's hard to explain without actually showing you. Actually, I've forgotten that I've put a big screen. I'm going to put it up there. The way he runs, it makes it look like he's got tiny little hands. Like when he's running away from me, it's like... It just freaks me out. I know it's not the case. It's just an optical illusion based on the animation, but it freaks me out. Anyway. Spartan Total Warrior. I want more Total War games like this. Guys, come on. I mean, Total War, you know, it's a pillar of Sega of Europe's financial gain. It's one of the things they're known for. Total War, RTS? Is that right? I don't know. PC stuff, you know? But as much as I think that's a good idea because a lot of people buy it, and you make a lot of money from it, so anything that makes Sega money, I'm all for. But I would love it if you did more stuff like Spartan Total Warrior, like an adventure game, where you just do stuff, rather than just click, attack, click, attack, defend, click, attack, get money, experience, rinse and repeat. I'm not into that whole thing, it's monotonous. But that, I love that, especially the end fight, my god. I love that game. So yeah, I'd love more stuff like that. It's been a really long time, but it'd be lovely. Oh, we're getting into the Sonics. Sonic Riders. The news that got out recently about how that concept was stolen from a skateboarding thing from back then. I totally believe that. Sega back then were dicks. They really were. They were trying to... They tried so hard. But enough of that. Yeah, I enjoyed that game a whole lot. I enjoy it more than the sequel, because that whole zero-G slowdown thing where you go around corners, it goes... It was neat, but I don't know. But yeah, that game was nice. Especially when you unlock the two Sega arcade stages, where you've got loads of references to different franchises. That was nice. I really love that. I love those two stages. I love that game for those two stages specifically, because it's like, it hits home. It's lovely. And it's just a fun game to play once you've learned how to play it, because it's not like every racer. It is very different and unique. But once you've learned how to play it, and you've got the feel down, it's very fun, very fluid. It's good times. Next, Sonic Mega Collection Plus. It's got all the classic Sonics on it. You can't go wrong. And it's got some other stuff in there, like if you play the game enough, you unlock little stuff like Rice Star, Comic Zone. What else do you unlock? Ooze, if you're into that. And you unlock the lock-on games separately. I think if you play the games like 20 times, you unlock the lock-on version of that. You're gonna have to look into the wiki, but it's been a long time since I've done something like that. But yeah, it's a good thing to have if you still own an original Xbox. They should do something like that again. I think that's the last classic Sonic Mega Collection thing you can get, apart from the Genesis Mega Drive Ultimate Collection for PS3 and Xbox 360. But that doesn't have the lock-on thing, so... whatever. Okay, last one for this half of the video. Part 2 will be up. I didn't think it would take this long. Sonic Heroes. A lot of people love this game. A hell of a lot of people love that game. I'm not shitting on you. You can love whatever you want. But I see a lot of problems with that game that nobody seems to address. And as fun as it is, because I can have fun with that thing, when I notice the problems, it does stop me a hell of a lot. And again, these sort of topics are saved for when a Sega critic is ready. But Sonic Heroes, yeah, nicely made, but a lot of problems, and too many problems for me to actually go back and play. Seriously, a lot of the bad games I own because I get to go back and laugh at them. I know that seems mean, but Sonic 06 is an example of that. You've got a couple of friends around with a few brewskis, and your entire intent is to just sit back and rip on the game, then you're gonna have the best time of your life. But anyway, you know what, I'm just gonna meld the two parts together, so it's just gonna be like a cut, and then I'm just gonna pop again, because what's the point of uploading two videos? I don't make ad revenue, so it makes no sense. Anyway, yeah, see you in a sec. Alright, here's the second part. If the lighting looks different and things have slightly moved, it's because this is later in the day, I had something to do. Anyway, let's carry on. Midway Arcade. Treasuries. 1. You know, it's Midway. You can't go wrong with that shit. Something wrong with the handle in this? There you go. Yeah, but it's got all of Midway's great stuff. So you got Smash TV in there, you got Satan's Hollow, Spy Hunter, both the Defenders, you got the Joust games, Splat, you got Clax, you got Gauntlet. It's good stuff. And you got Rampage too, and many other stuff. Marble Madness. It's good stuff. Anyway, and that's not the only one they did. They did another one, a sequel. Treasuries 2, and this has got more of the advanced stuff they did. They got Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, got Gauntlet 2, Spy Hunters 2. So they got Cyberball 2072, Pit Fighter. They got Primal Rage, which is good. Primal Rage kicks ass. So yeah, just another collection of Midway stuff. And they did another one, a third one, but this has got a bunch of racing stuff in it. This one, this is all car stuff. You got Rush the Rocks, Hydro Thunder, Super Off-Road, Badlands, Race Driven, all sorts of stuff. Off-Road Thunder, just good Midway stuff. I forget, is Midway still around? Like, is the company still up and running? I do not know. I know a bunch of their properties have been bought out, and other people are making their stuff now, like Mortal Kombat is made by NetherRealm Studios. Oof, sorry, it's very warm today. But anyway, let's carry on. Gun Valkyrie. Just, you know, play it. What can I say about this? Seriously, it is so... Okay, imagine, if you will, if somebody took Halo, Space Harrier, the controls from Burning Rages, and the world from... Is it Sin Punishment? I forget what it's called. The thing they had on GameCube and then Nintendo 64. Shove all that together, and that's what you get. It's good stuff. Very fun. I would recommend anybody look into it, and I'm surprised that another one hasn't been made or it hasn't been re-released. It's crazy. There's so much good stuff that needs to be brought back. Crazy Taxi 3. You know, it's Crazy Taxi. You know? Tried and tested formula. It's good. It's... I really don't know what to say. It's just fun. Get a couple of friends around, make them compete against each other for score, and you've got a good time. It's Crazy Taxi. Where can you go wrong? Next. Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. This is... this has both Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, all the puzzles inside, and a bunch of other stuff as well, like there's a tennis thing, and there's a thing you can do where you're on a raft with like a canoe racing sort of thing. There's I think there's like over 10 different party games you can do in this. If you like Super Monkey Ball, then I definitely suggest getting Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. It is something worth having. And Super Monkey Ball's fun. Little known fact. The same guy who makes the Yakuza games is also the same guy that made Super Monkey Ball. Who knew? Next. Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. This is important to me, because for the longest time, this has Hyper Street Fighter 2, which was the definitive version of Street Fighter 2 before that Switch one came out, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Now this is important because in the PAL regions, the only way you could get Street Fighter 3 was on Dreamcast. It was very expensive for a long time, and still is if you want to get it for Dreamcast. Until they brought this out, which was much cheaper and had the definitive version of Street Fighter 2 in. So it was good. I think you can get this on PlayStation and stuff like that. Maybe GameCube, I'm not quite sure. But it felt right owning it on Xbox for some reason. It just... I think it's the green and black, it just suits it. Anyway, Outrun 2. Now, this is weird because when I bought this way back, this clearly says Outrun 2, okay? It's just Outrun 2. Okay, but open the disc, and what does it say on the disc? Can you read that? Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. This was a fresh copy as well. This was a fresh copy, factory sealed. Even's got the manual, see? This was a factory sealed copy. I opened it up. It just says Outrun 2, but it had Coast to Coast inside, which I don't mind, because Coast to Coast has Outrun 2, Outrun 2 Special Edition, and the Coast to Coast campaign thing inside. So it's like 3 games in 1. I don't mind, but I thought it was just very interesting. That's I don't know, it's just a weird thing. They should, by the way, Sumo Digital, when you're done making that snake thing, get in touch with Sega and start making more stuff for them, because you know, people want another all-star racing game. Just saying. Manhunter. History behind this. You could not buy this game in the UK for a long time. When this came out originally, I think it was 3 or 4 years later before we could actually legally buy it, and by then all the systems had come and gone, and I think Manhunt 2 came out in the far west. I don't know, but yeah, it's a brutal game. At the time, it was a very brutal game. It's kind of, more stuff has come out since then. It's a lot more, you know, gory, but yeah, at the time it was it's a fun game. It's very fun. It's got a very interesting feel. I think Rockstar should go back and not make a Manhunt 3. If they wanted to, that's fine, but make something similar. Rockstar have got a very interesting way of dealing with horror theatrics. I like how they do it. Making stuff only easy. They're interesting. Anyway, Legacy of Kain Defiance. You remember before when I was talking about Blood Omen 2? Well, Defiance is pretty good too. It sort of rounds up everything. The ending is a bit of a cliffhanger, but if you use your imagination, you could sort of understand what's happening. And yeah, it's just a really good game. You play both Raziel and Kain, and spoilers, you know the voice that resurrects Raziel in Soul Reaver, you get to kill it. You get to beat the shit out of it, because it turns out that it is the reason why everything's going weird. It's a long story. Play the games. Sort of the Legacy of Kain games is they're good. They're really, really good. But anyway, moving on. Jet Set Radio Future. All I could say is, why hasn't this been re-released? You know, 'cause they did a HD of the original Jet Set a while back, and they released it for multiple systems, but not the sequel. This isn't. This is not like a gripe or anything. It's just, why not? It's 10 times better than the original. Way more stuff to do. The feel of it's great. It's got one of the most iconic songs in it. So, maybe Sega's working on it. Maybe. But, for now, I'm just confused why it hasn't been done yet. Anyway, we've got 6 more games to go, so let's go through this. Panzer Dragoon Orta. I love Panzer Dragoon. I love that franchise, I really do. And this is the last one they made. Officially, anyway, because there was Crimson Dragon for Xbox One, which... But anyway, Orta is great. I would say Orta is the best one out of the rail shooting ones. Saga doesn't really fit into it because it's more of an RPG. But if you got 1, 2, and Orta and stuck them all together, Orta would stick out. Because it's just so much better. I love Orta. And man, is it a big game. It takes a very long time to get through, and that's not a bad thing. Orta's lengthy and has a lot to do, and because of that, you feel like you've got your money's worth. It's a very good game, because I can't recommend it enough. And Panzer Dragoon is a franchise that needs to come back. There is no other franchise in video game history so far that has managed to come close to the Panzer Dragoon feel. Sega could definitely capitalize on the Panzer Dragoon style and world. Definitely again. Definitely. It's an untapped well. We've only just scratched the surface on that sort of thing. That universe can be done, can be redone again, and can be done so much more with. It's incredible. Anyway, Otogi, the Myth of Demons. Good ass game. If you like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, play Otogi, because that's where From Software not originally came from, because they made stuff before this, and coincidentally Otogi 2 is underneath there, and Immortal Warriors, they both were made by From Software and published by Sega. But yeah, play Otogi if you love the Dark Souls and Bloodborne franchise. It's not knights or a gothic theme like horror. It's Japanese myth stuff. That's where it lies more. But it is. If you love From Software, play Otogi. It's good. Okay, last 3 games. Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath. I love Oddworld. So buy their games. I like Stranger's Wrath too. I really like it. It's a neat, very very neat idea. I would recommend people play it. As an impact, I don't think it landed much towards me as much as the Abe's game, like Exodus or Odyssey. But Stranger's Wrath did. I think it did more for the universe. Like, it expanded, because what's happening elsewhere on Oddworld, you know, besides what Abe is doing. So that's why I liked it, because it was like, meanwhile, or elsewhere. I was hoping more Oddworld games would be like that. We'd get more stories from around the globe, so we got an idea. We get a broader idea of what Oddworld is like. And leading on to that, we got Munchies Odyssey for Xbox. You know, it's Abe in 3D with Munch, and he's adorable. He's they had to change a lot of things about that, because I understand what the direction they went for in Munchies Odyssey, because looking back, the Exodus and Odyssey were very puzzle oriented sort of games, very Another World-esque Prince of Persia style, but trying to replicate that in a fully 3D world is that's a toughie. So they had to change a bunch of things, and I don't mind the way they did it. I don't mind the way they did it at all. It's very fun, and it can get challenging too, like frustratingly challenging, just like the original games. So, I like Oddworld, played Munchies Odyssey. Last game on my list, Halo Combat Evolved. You've got an Xbox, you've got to own Halo, because Halo is really important to the gaming industry. It really is. It set a lot of standards, set a lot of precedents, and it's huge, and there are a lot of fan bases behind it. Now, that is the last game I own. That's all 32 games. And why is it I don't own Halo 2? It's because as much as Halo 1 did explode, I played through Halo 1. It wasn't enough. And here's why. Because I knew about shooters before Halo. A lot of people didn't, hence why Halo exploded. But stuff like Wolfenstein and Doom, I'd rather play Doom than Halo, because Doom is the game that made shooters popular, not Halo. Halo just brought it back. Doom started it, and is still carrying it, because Doom, the new Doom, for PS4 and whatever, that's lovely. That's a good game. They took everything from Doom 1, made what made it good, and just modernised it. Good! You can't do that with Halo, because Halo is modern. All you can do is, well, they made 6 games now, and from what I can tell, the popularity is just dwindling. This isn't shit on Halo moment, I'm just pointing out the obvious that Halo won't be around because the standard that it set already existed. It just helped to improve the popularity of shooters, and that's all it did. Because Master Chief just looks like a high-tech version of Doom guy. So that's why I can't get into it, because no matter how much I play Halo, all I can think about is Doom. So I'd rather be playing Doom. Okay, that's it. Done. Hope you enjoyed watching this. If you got anything to say, point in the comments. Got any comments, point in the say. That makes no fucking sense.